Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So we'll be talking about CSS position. We'll continue our CSS series. Okay, so let's get started. So CSS position property specify the positioning method used for an element. Okay, and we have 5 positioning methods. First, we have fixed, we have relative, we have absolute, we have sticky, and we have static. So we'll take them one by one. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with the fixed absolute element. Okay, so first of all, make sure you create your HTML file, your CSS file, and link your CSS style sheets. Okay, just like this. I believe we all know how to do that now. So let's start with fixed. Okay, fixed position method. Okay, so what we'll do is let's create a div with a class of fixed. Okay, so let's target the fixed div. Okay, and where we apply the fixed position value to a particular element, we say position fixed. Okay, so let's give all this div. Okay, let's just give general div the background color so you can see it better. Let's say red. Let's come to the browser so you can see it is in a fixed position. But how do you know if it is a fixed position? Okay, so let's come here. Let's say body. All right, height of 200 pixels and 2000 pixels. Okay, so you can scroll. All right, so look closer. When you scroll, okay, you can see this particular div is still there, so it is in a fixed position. So that's basically what a fixed positioning does to an element. Okay, it does not leave the spot at all. All right, so the next thing we'll talk about is sticky positioning. So for that, let's create another div. Okay, let's put a comment here. Sticky position method. Okay, let's create another div. Let's say sticky. Okay, with one tag, sticky position. All right, so let's target it. Okay, sticky, and obviously the way we say it is we say position sticky. So it's very, very straightforward. So let's come to the browser. Okay, so you can see it is not doing anything. Okay, so let's fix that. And the reason why it is not working is because we have not adjusted it away from its normal position. Okay, so all this position fixed, position sticky is normal position, and when we adjust, we adjust it from the normal position is we use the top, right, bottom, and left properties. Okay, so for example, let's come back to this sticky element. Okay, let's say top 0. That is saying we want it to stick at the top of the page. Okay, so when I come here, you can see stick at the top. So okay, so can you see it's different from fixed positioning? Fixed positioning is remain at one spot, but stick at the top. Okay, so you can even change the position. You can say 3 rem. Okay, top 3 rem. So you can notice when we stick, it stay at 3 rem. Maybe 3 rem is too much. Let's say 5 pixels. Okay, so you can see when I come up, it stick, but it does not stick totally to the top. Okay, so let's move this particular fixed position. Let's move it out of this place. Okay, and the way we do that is by using top, left, right, and bottom. Okay, let's say top. So that it means is give it space from the top. Let's say 2 rem, 3 rem. Okay, when you come, you see it has come down. Then let's say 5 rem. Let's say left, to give it space from the left, another 5 rem. Okay, so you can see that's basically how we adjust the position property, okay, from its natural position. All right. Okay, so the last two we'll be talking about is relative and absolute. Okay, so we're taking them together. Let's say position and relative position and absolute position. Relative and absolute method, the position method. Okay. Okay, so let's create a div for that. Let's call it container. Okay, each one. You know what? Let's create another div inside of this container. Let's say absolute. Okay, let's call it the class name of absolute. Then create each one tag. Let's say absolute position. So relative and absolute position work together. Okay, so let me show you what that means. Okay, so an element that with position relative, okay, is position relative to its normal position. Okay, but an element with an absolute positioning is position relative to the nearest position accessed to. Okay, so I know it's still confusing. Is it confusing? But I will explain it better right now. So let's target this container and give the position of relative. Okay, container. You know what? Let's say position. Okay, relative. Sorry about that. Okay, let's continue. Position relative, and let's give it width and height. Okay, so you can see better. Let's say width 100, view width. Okay, and height of, let's say, 500 pixels. So let's see what we have. Okay, it's not looking good. Let's see 900. No, what? 900 pixels. Okay, and let's give it a background color of blue. All right. Okay, so this is our container div. Okay, and inside of the container div, you can see the absolute positioning div. So let's target the absolute positioning div, right? That means this particular div right here. So just follow along closely. You understand right now. So let's say a width of 300 pixels and height of 200 pixels. No, let's say width of 200, height of 200, and let's give the background color of white. Okay, all right, so you can see this is the box, the absolute position box. It's inside of this container. So now we can position this absolute box in relative to this container. So that means we can position this box anywhere inside of this container. That's just the basic meaning of that. Okay, so before we can be able to position anything inside of this container, okay, like this absolute position box, if we want to position it inside anywhere inside of this container, we have to make this container relative. All right, so let's position this elsewhere. Let's see. So now we say position absolute. Okay, and before position absolute has to work, we have to adjust it from its normal position by using top, bottom, left, right. Okay, let's say 5 rem top. No, 5 rem is too much. 3 rem, then right, 2 rem. Okay, you can see 2 rem from the top, 3 rem from the top, then 2 rem from right. So if I say I change it to left, okay, it will be 2 rem. Oh, sorry, left. It will be 2 rem from the left. Okay, that's basically how we use position and position relative and position absolute alongside each other. Okay, but right now, if you notice, if I remove this relative, check what happened. You can see where the box is. So this box is now absolute to the whole page. Okay, so you can understand why we need to set this container relative. All right, so this position relative and absolute is very, very, very important and useful in positioning elements. Right, so that's basically everything about positioning. Okay, so the next thing we'll be talking about is Z index property. Okay, it's another important property. Okay, so though it is not a positioning method, but it's very, very important. Okay, so Z index property specifies the stack order of an element. Right, so let's come to our browser. You can see this div, this container div, it is above. Okay, it is covering our fixed position div. Okay, when you scroll up, you can see the div underneath. So but if we want this fixed position to come on top, we'll use index position. Okay, index property, I mean. So let's come here, fixed. Let's say Z. Okay, Z index, let's say 10 or 100. So you can see it is above it. So it will be above any element that is obstructing it before. Okay, so the thing you need to know about Z index is the higher the Z index, the higher the stack order. So that means the element with the higher Z index be on top of the element with the lower Z index. Okay, that's basically everything about Z index. And the next we'll talk about is CSS overflow. Okay, the CSS overflow property controls what happens to the content that is too big to fit in that area. Okay, so let's create a div below. Let's say let's put a comment CSS overflow. Okay, you know what, instead of creating another div, let's just create the div inside of this container. Okay, let's say overflow. All right, and with one tag CSS overflow. Okay, so let's come here, CSS overflow. Let's give it an height and width. Overflow. Okay, let's just copy it, width and height, paste it. Okay, that's easy. Let's give it a background color of purple. Okay, Okay, so you can see. So now, for example, let me comment is the index so you can see it properly. So for example, now this CSS overflow, this CSS overflow box, maybe its width is larger than the container. Okay, let me show you what I mean. First of all, let's say maybe it is the index, so it will be on top. Let's say 100. Okay, so now let's say width of 1000 pixels. All right, so you can see it is above the container. That means it is overflowing the container. It is bigger than the container. So the way we can apply CSS overflow property to control what's happening. Okay, anytime the content is bigger than its container. Okay, like this, like as default it is visible. Okay, we can make it to be hidden. Let's say overflow hidden. Sorry, should be inside of the container. So anything overflowing inside the container should be hidden. Overflow hidden. Okay, so you can see it's fixed perfectly in the container. So we can also say overflow, sorry, we can say overflow auto. So for example, say overflow auto. All right, so this you can scroll it. That's what it means like auto. So anytime auto means anytime the content is bigger than its area, it should provide a scroll bar. Okay, and you can also say scroll, overflow scroll. Okay, so provide a scroll left with the x and y axis. Okay, so that's basically everything about overflow. CSS overflow. It's also an important part of CSS and styling. Okay, so I hope you understand perfectly. So we discussed about fixed position method, sticky position method, okay, relative and absolute position method. That is, these are the four positioning method, the four most important position method in CSS. And we talked about z index, means how to stack order of elements, okay. And lastly, we talked about CSS overflow. All right, so if you like this particular video, make sure you like it and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next CSS video of this series.